Oscar Bevis for RFL TV in association with MTK Global. Delighted to be joined by CBS, Chris Billam-Smith. How are you, sir?
Yeah, very well, thanks, mate. All good. Yourself?
Not bad. I have to say one thing. I'm glad you got rid of that dodgy tash, mate. Someone had to say it.
Don't worry, mate. You're not the first person to say it.
That was proper. That 2020. I don't know what year it is, but it's just not the year of Chris Billam-Smith, is it? Your Commonwealth title defence is coming months later than it should. I heard the other day that you were going to get married, and that was put off too. The cherries are going down. Just cancel the year for you, yeah?
Yeah. There's still time for the cherries to stay up and save the year, and thankfully we are still getting married, not in Italy as planned, but and a bit later than planned, but we are still getting married this year. I've actually just tried on my wedding suit, so it's all good.
How are we looking in the wedding suit?
Yeah, very good, mate. Very good. Always look good in the suit.
Because you're back in camp, that's why you're taking that, getting back in shape again. Obviously, it must just be a buzz getting back in camp, because obviously you've got some exciting guys as well in and around the McGuigan camp. So it's probably just getting the buzz back, and I suppose it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, mate. It's great to be back with the lads, and we spend so much time with them. It's weird that when you're not with them for so long. So it's great to get back in the gym with all the boys and Shane and everyone, and so we're all back and in full flow now.
A lot of the boxers I've spoken to have said they're actually more motivated than they were before. Is that the case for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think lockdown it's taught me a lot about myself and how I can improve, and given me time to think on things and work on things, mental things and little areas of my physical attributes, which maybe I've lacked in the past. And sometimes you don't have time because you're in camp and you've got 10 sessions, 11 sessions a week planned already. So it's hard to fit in the extras, or you're just knackered all the time. But it's given me a new lease of life, definitely. And obviously having a bit of a break away from it, both mentally and physically to an extent. Still training, but not as intense, because obviously you need to let the body rest a bit. But it's definitely given me a boost in many areas.
I want to talk about the fight camp now. There was like limited slots. It's such a big thing, and I suppose it's good for you in the fact that you got the Commonwealth, because it means that you're an asset in the division, but it also means that it's a belt you can defend. Let's say you had a WBA international strap or something, and they couldn't find a worthy opponent from the governing body. But Commonwealth, you've got a big selection of guys in the UK that you can choose from as well. So that's a bonus.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very, very fortunate and grateful and lucky to be in this position of getting on a fight camp. Obviously, there's 40 fighters on it, so across the matchroom shows. So very fortunate to be on one of those shows. Obviously was looking forward to defending my belt back in May. And thankfully, Nathan Thorley's still up for the fight, and although it's not in Cardiff and all this sort of stuff, so that's good. He's obviously he's game. He's obviously been training during lockdown, so I'm grateful that he's taken the fight as well. Like you said, it can be difficult to find opponents sometimes for some people, but with the Commonwealth, obviously you've got a lot of good Brits at cruiserweight, so I'm very fortunate.
Where did you fight Richard again, if you don't mind me asking? Where was it?
Where did I box him?
Yeah.
In the O2, on the white rematch card.
Richard Riakporhe in the O2, Chris Glover in Liverpool, Nathan Thorley in Wales. You were turning into a bit of a road warrior.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I was up for it. We was meant to have obviously a homecoming at the beginning of the year, but no one would take the fight. No one wants to come down to Bournemouth and let that sea air knock them out. So but I'll fight anyone anywhere, mate, as I've proven, and would be nice to get a homecoming, and hopefully we can get that eventually.
Yeah, obviously, first things first, like we said, Nathan Thorley in the way. What does he bring? Because if you look at his record, he hasn't sort of stepped up to the level that he's going to step up when he faces you, obviously. So for those who haven't seen too much of him, tell us a little bit about what he can bring to the fight.
Well, for a start, he was obviously come up from light heavyweight, but he's a massive at the weight. I don't know how he ever made it, because I faced off with him, but in March, just obviously before lockdown, and we had the press conference, and he was very, very, he was a bit taller than me, I think, and he's still broad and stuff. Seen a few clips of him, and he's got fast hands. Obviously, he's got good skill. He's got a few stoppages on his record, but against journeyman, it's hard to knock him out. When he has stepped up the level, he's stopped the lads that have got better records and stuff. So expect him to have heavier hands than he's shown as well, because he's obviously coming up to cruiserweight. He's probably carrying his strength. He would have been dead at light heavy, I imagine, and that's the decision, I guess, that he's made. Why he's made the decision to come up. And then we got obviously Commonwealth Games bronze medalist. You don't just get given any international tournament medals. They don't give them out. So he's obviously out that. He's got a good boxing brain. So I expect him to be pretty tricky.
You've gone from the fight, like you said, you was going to fight in Wales, and there were obviously going to be people watching. It was a good card for Sky, free to air. There would have been people watching, like I said. But fight camp's different, because of the lack of boxing. People are tuning into everything. You've got people up over here staying up for cards, top rank cards that they otherwise wouldn't have watched. So people are just keen to see some boxing. So a bit of pressure maybe, or?
No, I mean, you put pressure on yourself anyway, and there is pressure there to perform. Anyway, I mean, in our gym alone, there's pressure to constantly perform day in, day out. So we get used to that pressure. But yeah, the eyes are going to be on us, and you're on Sky Sports. But that's what I love doing. I love the pressure, and I love those situations, and that's when I perform my best against live opponents. When it's live on TV and there's plenty of people watching. That's when I always put on my best performances.
Could this be a massive few years for you as well? Because, I'm not going to start mapping your career out, but a couple of defences at a Commonwealth, European level, and next thing you know, you'll be at world level. And if you look through the rankings at cruiserweight, I mean, there's some guys in there that aren't with the biggest platforms. There's a couple of South African guys. I can't remember the Frenchman, Arsene Goulamirian or something. Yeah, who's got the WBA Super. There's guys who I can imagine would jump at the chance to come over here and defend their belt. So you've got to be, I imagine, thinking, I could be looking at world level and getting someone over here to make me world champion in a year or two.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, with the Commonwealth, would love to get the British as well. I'm still improving all the time, and there's plenty of good talent domestically. Good domestic fights that make sense, but with the likes of Tommy McCarthy, obviously the winner of Riatpur and Dion Juma, and all, there's loads of lads out there, but Lawrence obviously moving on to world level now, which is great for the division and great for the cruiserweight division domestically, because he's proven that the domestic scene, he's proven himself at domestic level, but then he's moved on very quickly. And then there's sort of the rest of us at the moment. And and I think we got, as I've said many times before, we got to fight out to see who's the best of the rest at the moment as such, until Lawrence moves up. And then, then there's obviously, you got Breedis Dorticus, who obviously may have the WBSS fight. Then who knows what will happen to them after they fight, after that fight, if they win or whatever. Obviously got that Arsene Goulamirian, and then the European will be vacant because Lawrence is going to world level. I heard Tommy McCarthy's mandatory for that, I think, or he might be in with a shot. So that's great, because that keeps it, in the UK, and it makes sense for a fight with myself or one of the other lads to have a good domestic fight for a good belt like the European title.
Yeah, you and Tommy, when you think about it on paper, is actually a pretty banging fight, like you and Tommy McCarthy. Going to switch things up now, move away from yourself. I think we spoke yesterday about an interview, and then sort of all the stuff's come out overnight about Luke Campbell in the 135 division. It looks like he's going to be fighting Ryan Garcia now. I mean, there's so many good matchups, but that's a good one, and that is a proper good one.
Yeah, that's a wicked fight. It's a really good fight, I think, with whether Garcia will take it, because if you look at his resume, he hasn't boxed anyone. A lot of them are feathers or super feathers coming up. I believe he turned down the Abnamares fight as well. Something about money, but they can always use that excuse. If you think you're going to win, and obviously Abnamares is well past his best. But if it's a comfortable fight, I imagine you'd take it. But look, I hope he takes it, because I know what Luke's capable of. He showed that against Loma. I think a lot of people are the ones that remember how good Luke's performance was that night will pick Luke to smash Garcia to bits. And he's only improved since then as well. He's sparring, he's come back in the gym. He was in for 2 weeks and he's sharp. He looks like he's ready to go. All he'd have to do is make weight and he'd be ready to go. And he hasn't even been sparring yet. So, but he looks so sharp on the pads. All of us, like me and Fowler, obviously got fights coming up, and we're looking at him like, are we even ready because of how sharp he is? But he's just a freak. He's just such a professional, and he keeps getting better and better. And I think someone like Garcia would be perfect for him to get more recognition than he has got in the past. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves as a fighter. He had a split decision and a potential an arguable decision with Linares. The Loma fight was amazing. He's avenged his other loss, and he's beaten some good people like Argenis Mendes, but never got the respect for that fight because no one really knew who he was. But that's a great win. And yeah, he's capable of so much. So I can't wait for him to get his world title shot or even a big fight against Garcia for the interim or whatever it is, and get out there and show him what he's made of.
Yeah, I like Luke. He's a weird character in the fact that when you meet him, he just seems so calm, relaxed. I remember I went to a media breakfast the week of the Lomachenko fight, and I was thinking, you're about to step in the ring with Lomachenko in like 3 days, and you just couldn't look like he was phased any less. You obviously, like you said, we see a lot more of him than we will. He's a consummate professional, and I can imagine you're taking a lot, not just from Luke, because there's so many guys around you that are consummate professionals. When you look at the shape that all you guys stay in, the McGuigan gym, but especially him, you must take so much from someone who's been at that level.
Yeah, he's always giving me advice and stuff, and explains the mistakes he thinks where it's gone wrong in his career and stuff, and always talking about how ways to get better and things he does and drills he does. Like he's always looking for 1% here, 2% there, and that's what makes him such a great athlete and a great fighter. And that's why he's 31 or 32 this year, maybe. He might be 32 in September. So he's, as a lightweight, that's quite old, but he's in the shape of his life. And that's because he's always lived lived the life of a boxer, how it should be done. Never balloons up between fights. Always looking for edges. When he's out of camp, he's at home figuring ways to get better and drills to make him better. And that's just what makes him an unbelievable athlete and an unbelievable boxer. And someone who's, for us in the gym, he's a role model. And he's great to have in the gym.
Yeah, and obviously something we'll look forward to when it does happen, or if it does happen, should I say. Let's just quickly, before we finish this, go on to fight week. So you're fighting on a Saturday, so you'd turn up on Tuesday, Wednesday? Oh, you're on the Friday night, so you turn up on the Tuesday, and then you go from this big high thinking I'm going to have my fight camp fight and I get to defend my belt, and then I suppose it has to be quite chilled and contained because you are literally going to be quarantined. Strange, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think we get tested on the Tuesday, and then we have to go to our hotel room until we get our results back, and then we go into what Eddie and everyone's calling the bubble, which I assume is just the hotel, and this, maybe allowed to walk down the road or something. I don't know, but yeah, it's going to be strange. Obviously, I think that Shane knows a bit more details than I do because obviously he wants to know what the situation is. I think we've got a gym in the hotel or rooms in the hotel to use and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of logistics to think about. It's not like a normal fight week. All the food, I guess, we're going to have to take with us and make sure that we've got all the food we need and all that sort of thing. So strange times. And anyone who, we've got like a sports psychologist who we'll have with us, who we usually have with us, and we're trying to get him in. So he'd have to come from the Tuesday as well and get tested. So yeah, it's a lot different to usual. It's not as simple as just getting someone in. So yeah, we'll see. Be interesting.
And for the punters watching, just finally, a prediction: how does Chris Billam-Smith beat Nathan Thorley?
I think it'll be tricky early on. He'll pose me some problems early on, but I think I think the amount of time I've spent at the weight could be the difference. I'm naturally a cruiserweight now. The weight's not hard to make, but it's harder than it was when I first turned pro. And I'm a lot bigger at the weight. And I think the strength and the size and the work that I'll put in the early rounds will wear him down. And I'll be looking to take him out as always, as I do in every other fight.
Chris Billam-Smith, knockout, round 6 of 12. Put your house on it, Chris. Thanks for giving me some of your time. Like I said, hopefully see you in fight camp if we can do. I don't know, if there's media workouts we can go along, whatever. If not, good luck, and hopefully we'll catch up afterwards.
Nice one. Cheers, Oscar.